What is going on, guys? It is Ty the Jeep Guy, and we are out here in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota, and none other than Judith the Jeep. In this video, we're gonna go on an adventure. We're gonna go check out one of the most active mining districts from the 1880s here in the Black Hills. We're gonna track down a ghost town, as well as the two mines that ghost town would have supported during that time period. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's go ahead and waste no more time and get started. So we've made it to our first little stop on our way in, and I'm gonna take this chance to air down a little bit. This thing can ride like a lumber wagon sometimes. Even though we're just gonna be on gravel roads and 2-track, I'd still like to be comfortable. The way in is super cool. It's a really pretty drive. We already got to pass through a little bit of the mining history that's out here. Like I said, this was the most active mining district in the hills, and that kind of stands today. There's still some of the mines out there, and that actual mine used to be a ghost town. So pretty neat. Let's get aired down and we'll keep going. Alright, so we just passed through Castleton, which is an old ghost town that sits right outside of the area we're going to. It was a big hub for a lot of things, and there was actually a pretty big dredging operation there as well. When we were coming into the town, you could actually see all the piles of rock along the road that was a part of that process, or well, was a result of that process. You can also see the old railroad bed, which we actually passed under one of the trestle bridges that really supported this town. Actually, in the 1880s, it had a second boom because of the railroad that was passing through that now lays idle as a hiking trail. So we're going to continue down this road. There's no cell service, and it does get a little rough, but that's only if you're in like a Toyota or a Subaru. Judith, this will be just fine. So we're gonna go see if we can't find these old mining claims and We have made it to our first stop, and this would be the ghost town that supported these two little mines we're looking for. Now, this ghost town isn't like all the normal ones you would find in the hills where there's a hotel and a saloon like Deadwood, Custer, and Rochford. This one's smaller just because all of the mines in the surrounding area were pretty small operations. They didn't need anything huge. And this is along a creek where a lot of people used to pan for gold as well. So, this particular spot was the general store and smokehouse, to my understanding. The research I've been able to do describes this first room here, off to would be my right, this side. This was the general store. This is where you could get your small goods. And then on the left, right over there, this room has one door and no windows. And to my understanding, that's what made it a smokehouse. So obviously back in the day, they didn't have refrigeration, so they had to find a way to keep their meat good for longer periods of time. So they would use this building here to smoke a mass amount of meat from rabbits, deer, and whatever else they might be bringing in there to eat. Then, just right down over here, there was two areas that they would have used as a post office and for cold storage. It's pretty much a root cellar. You see it's built into the side of the hill, and it goes down a little ways in there, but since the time it was built, the roof has fallen in, so you can't really see all the way back in there. Then the structure down below it was what would have been the post office, and you can see remnants of some small tin items in there, but other than that, this ghost town in particular was relatively small, but it was big enough to support all the mining operations in this general area. So let's load back up, and we're gonna head out and try and find two of the mines that this little town would have supported. So we have found one of the mines that small ghost town we just left would have supported, and it's actually really close to that town. It's literally 1 or 2 ridges over. It was a 5-minute drive for us, but back in the day that would have been quite the hike to get here. So this mine in particular is got some really cool history to it. It started off with just one shaft that was 75 feet in, and then as money started coming in, they were looking for gold and silver here. they were able to sink a bigger shaft 150 feet down with about 400 to 500 feet of drifting and crosscuts put in there. Throughout that time period, I believe in the late 1890s, they were able to put up a mill. It was a 5-stamp mill, and process the ore here. They also had a small cabin where they were able to test the quality of the ore, see what they're going to be pulling out, gold and silver, whatever else they might be looking for. So they were able to keep everything to that mine here on grounds, whereas before, in 1887, whenever they started, they had to take it to a local mill, which was close to here as well. So there's one other mine I'm hoping we can track down, and we'll see. This one has eluded me for about 2 to 3 months now. I can't seem to find it every time I come out here. So fingers are crossed we did proper preparation and we can track it down. So I'm starting to find tailings piles. I found a couple old cans. I'm starting to find pieces of wood that have been worked. I've also found a couple really crudely built walls. So I have a feeling I'm either at it or I'm close to it. So let's see if we can find any other signs of life here. All right, hopefully you can see or hear me because I forgot my tripod back at the Jeep, but we have found the shaft house to the second mine. Now this second mine was very similar in size. It went to 150 feet. It had about 200 to 300 feet of crosscut and drifts coming off of it. This one also produced gold and silver, but in a much higher amount. So this in particular mine right here that we're standing in the trench of, or well, squatting in the trench of, produced $10,000 worth of gold between 1882 to 1905. So this one ran a little bit longer than the other one we were just at. Now it had 6 claims in this area, and you can kind of see tailings and test holes everywhere if you were to come out here and find it. But this one in particular is the collapsed shaft house that would have lowered the miners down into the mine to go ahead and explore those crosscuts and drifts. This one in particular I think is really cool because you can still see some of the ore along the sides here that they would have been pulling out and leaving in these tailing piles. So that is the two mines I was hoping to track down. This is the one that's been eluding me forever. So it just took a little bit more time to come out here and look. It was actually way off from where I had it marked originally. So to be able to find it after all these years is really cool. That pretty much sums up the secondary mine that supported the ghost town we visited earlier in the day. We got to find the shaft house. We saw tons of cool tailings, some really cool, just artifacts. They're scattered everywhere, and I don't know at what point does it become trash or does it become a historical artifact, but there was tons of cans, which was cool to see. Some, it looks like, we found someone's lunch spot because there was like 3 cans sitting there. We found the old mill site, which unfortunately the mill, there's not even really any timber left from that. But it's time for us to try and track down Judith and make our way back to civilization because there is a snowstorm coming in, the first one of the season. So I'll catch you back at the Jeep. I just wanted to show you guys how fast these clouds are moving up ahead. You can literally see them on the camera just cooking through here. So we just hit the main road that'll take us back into town, thus concluding this adventure. Oh, well, I feel the same way because I had an absolute blast. We were able to track down a ghost town, 2 mines, one of which has been evading me forever. So overall, I had such a great day, and I hope you guys had a blast watching along. You already know the drill. Get on out there and keep on jeeping on.